मैं टाइम हूं, टाइम द स्टोरी टेलर। मैं सुनाता हूं स्टार स्टोरीज। आई नो लॉट ऑफ स्टोरीज, फेरी टेल्स ऑफ लॉन्ग लॉन्ग अगो, जब नीचे वंडरलैंड और ऊपर वंडर स्काई में स्ट्रेंज थिंग्स हुआ करती थी। उन दिनों ह्यूमंस अलग अलग फॉर्म्स ले सकते थे, वो फ्लाई भी कर सकते थे। एनिमल्स को टॉक एंड मिक्स विद पीपल। ऊपर हेवन और नीचे अर्थ पर बहुत से लॉर्ड्स और बहुत से मॉन्स्टर्स रहते थे। ऐसी ही एक स्टोरी है स्वान द डॉग स्टार। ये स्टोरी है 5 ब्रेव ब्रदर्स और उनके फेथफुल डॉग स्वान की। 5 ब्रदर्स मेरू माउंटेन के ऊपर स्काई किंगडम में जाना चाहते थे। वो माउंट मेरू पहुंचे। जो कि स्काई किंगडम का डोरवे था। द लॉर्ड ऑफ द स्काई इंद्र ने युधिष्ठिर को वेलकम किया, पर एक प्रॉब्लम थी। स्काई किंगडम का रूल था कि वहां एनिमल्स नहीं रह सकते थे। ट्रुथफुल युधिष्ठिर तो अपने फेथफुल डॉग के साथ ही स्काई किंगडम में जाना चाहता था। तब हार कर फाइनली इंद्र ने डॉग स्वान को भी स्काई किंगडम में जगह दे दी। तो उस दिन से ना सिर्फ स्वान को ऊपर वंडर स्काई में जगह मिली, बल्कि वो वहां का सबसे ब्राइट स्टार भी बन गया। हम उस स्टार को कहते हैं सीरियस द डॉग स्टार।
city live here too. How I came here is what I tell you now. Listen to my story and I'm sure you say wow. I am so cute, I am the pampered puppy. Love having bones, see my hair so fluffy. I am the pampered puppy.
In the night sky, many a times you see me present. And what is my color? White. That is my favorite color too. By the way, how many moons do you see in your sky? Just one. And that is me, your Chanda Mama. Have you ever seen me through a telescope? Well, a telescope is a tube that holds two pieces of glass together. With a telescope, you can look up at far away things in space and get a closer view of them. Look at me through a telescope. Surprised? You find that I am not as smooth as I look otherwise. Actually, my face is full of holes. These holes on my surface are called craters. Telescopes can show you things in space that you cannot see with your naked eyes. I know you love to draw pictures. I'm pretty sure that you all do. Your great-grandparents were also good at this art. They made pictures of the night sky. They joined the stars by drawing standing, slanting, and sleeping lines. Look at what they did. They imagined a few lines and made a crab in the sky. They called this group of stars Cancer. Look there, they drew a lion in the sky and called this group of stars Leo, meaning lion. And a beautiful lady. It was named Virgo. And there they drew a balance in the sky and called it Libra. There they saw a Scorpio in the sky. In this group of stars, they saw the figure of a half man, half horse. They named it Sagittarius. And this one, Capricornus, a sea goat. A water bearer called Aquarius. Two fishes swimming among the stars. They are called Pisces. Aries is a ram. Taurus, a bull. Twin brothers in the sky called Gemini. The sky is full of pictures.
features in the sky are called constellations. Can you tell what my face or shape is right now? Yes, I am new moon. On this day, you cannot see me in your sky. On this day, I move along with sun in your sky. In fact, the sun is at my back. From this day onwards, I wax and become fatter and fatter with every passing day. As I wax, I move away from the sun and glide over the stars, jumping from constellation to constellation. After about 15 days, I become full moon. After that, I start waning and getting thinner and thinner day by day. I also continue to glide over the stars and jump from one constellation to another, night by night. The constellations or stars in my background keep changing. After about 30 days from my new moon phase, I return to the new moon phase and start waxing again.
Perseus on his flying horse Pegasus challenged the monster. A fierce battle was fought in the sky. The earth below trembled and the sky above shook. It looked as if the fight would go on forever. But then, Perseus showed intelligence He took out Medusa's head from the bag and showed it to Cetus. Instantly turning Cetus into a lifeless toad. The monster was no more. Princess Andromeda was saved. The Ethiopians were saved. It was time to celebrate. The king kept his promise. Perseus got married to Andromeda.
Wow! What a fascinating fairy tale. Brave and wise Perseus saved everyone. He's now my favorite hero.
I like the flying horse Pegasus. I wish I had one. I would then go to school on Pegasus and not in my school bus.
Why don't you make a wish to your star fairy or tooth fairy? Maybe they can give you a flying horse?
Our great-grandparents from Ethiopia placed hero Perseus and Princess Andromeda along with others among stars as constellations in the sky so that nobody forgets them. Every winter season you can see this fairy tale in your night sky as you see it right now. Here we come to an end. Before I leave, there is an assignment for you for the vacations.
Oh no! How boring! Another assignment?
This is a very interesting assignment. It is about the most famous star of the night sky. It is about one special star that you all will love to know and be friends with.
Nan, you are talking about the pole star, isn't it?
Yes, you've guessed it right. The pole star. You have to find it in your skies. Remember, it is not the brightest star in the night sky.
It is Big Dipper, a pan with a long handle in many other parts of the world.
How interesting! So in order to find Polaris, the pole star, we have to first find the Big Dipper in the sky.
Yes. Now look at those 4 stars forming the pan of the Big Dipper. Imagine a line connecting the 2 stars at the front of the Dipper. Continue the line to the open side of the Dipper. At a distance 5 times that between the 2 stars, you will arrive at the pole star. The 2 stars of the Dipper that point towards the pole star are also called pointer stars, as they always point towards the pole star. Remember, when you are facing the pole star, you are facing the north direction.
And to your right is east. To your left is west. At your back is south.
Imagine you are sailors of olden times like Columbus or Vasco da Gama or Magellan and are sailing in an ocean. How would you find your way? Remember, in olden times, there were no lighthouses, no signboards, no mobile phones, and at times, not even maps or clocks. Then, how would you know where you are and where are you going? How would you find your directions?
No doubt, without the help of Pole Star, we could not have conquered the world. Finding Pole Star has turned out to be the most interesting vacation time assignment.
Saturn is the sixth planet from the Sun. It orbits the Sun once in about 30 Earth years. It rotates on its axis in a little over 10 hours. Like other three Jovian planets, Saturn also has rings and lots of moons. But the rings of Saturn are most spectacular. Let us now go to the biggest moon of the solar family, Ganymede.
Dad, can you take me to my favorite moon that is named after the daughter of magician Prospero, a character in Shakespeare's play, The Tempest?
I got it. You mean Miranda. Moon Miranda of planet Uranus is an icy world. Moon Ariel of Uranus has a smooth surface with interconnecting valleys. Ariel was a spirit in Shakespeare's play, The Tempest. Titania is the biggest moon of planet Uranus.
Under Alexander. He was born 356 years before Christ. He founded Alexandria in Egypt. Alexandria became a hub of knowledge and had a great library that had books or scrolls from all parts of the world, including India. Wow! Now that's news. Ancient Greeks, like other ancient civilizations, imagined patterns among the stars in the sky. They also saw their gods, goddesses and demons in those patterns. A modern constellation is an area in the sky, like a country on the globe. Each modern constellation demarcates an area in the sky. A pattern formed out of stars is now called an asterism. To show respect to our ancestors, many modern constellations have retained the names of Old Greek asterisms. Every star in the sky, whether we can see it with naked eye or not, belongs to one or another modern constellation. The astronomers now recognize 88 constellations in the sky. Constellations are used to assign addresses to stars. Stargazers often take help of asterisms for star hopping. Isn't that fun, children? The asterism called Big Dipper is in constellation Ursa Major. 3 stars of the handle of the Dipper form a curve that leads us to the bright stars Acritas and Spica, and they are also called Swati and Chitra. Hydra is the largest modern constellation as it covers the largest area in our sky. Crux the Cross is the smallest constellation. The 2 ends of the Earth's axis are called its geographical poles. They are North Pole and South Pole. The point around which the Earth rotates anti-clockwise is called Earth's geographical north, and the point opposite to it is called its geographical south. North and south are therefore natural directions on the Earth. East or west directions are defined only in relation to north or south. Equator is a great imaginary circle on the surface of the Earth. All places on it are at equal distance from the poles. Imaginary circles on the Earth parallel to the equator are called latitudes. Equator is the obvious choice reference to start marking the latitudes, and therefore it is marked 0 degree. Imaginary half circles drawn between the 2 poles are called longitudes. For marking the longitudes, where do we start from? There is no equator like one central circle, which we can use as zero longitude or prime meridian. By general agreement, we have chosen the longitude that passes through the Greenwich Observatory near London as zero longitude or the prime meridian. This prime meridian helps us to determine different standard times like the sunrise, sunset and noon time at different places on our planet. The position of each location on the Earth can be described in terms of its longitude, that is, how far it is from prime meridian, and latitude, that is, how far it is north or south of the equator. For example, Agra, the Indian city of Taj Mahal, is at almost 78 degrees longitude east of prime meridian and almost 28 degrees latitude north of equator. As the Earth rotates, it also revolves around the Sun. After rotation, revolution is another fundamental motion of the celestial bodies. The path of Earth's journey around the Sun is called its orbit. To understand the merry-go-round of our solar system, let us go above the solar system at a vantage point from where we have a bird's eye view of the solar system. The native village of most of the comets is the outermost region of our solar system. This part of the solar system is called Oort cloud. It is about 1 light year or 10 trillion kilometers away from our Earth. Oort cloud is so far away from the Sun that from here, the Sun looks merely a bright dot of light. It is from here that long-period comets like Hale-Bopp or Hyakutake embark upon their remarkable inwards journey to the Sun, tracking for thousands of years. All comets do not originate from Oort cloud. Many short-period comets like Comet Halley, having orbital periods, say up to 200 years, originate from a region called Kuiper Belt. This region is close to the orbit of Neptune. Kuiper Belt is also the hometown of some dwarf planets like Pluto. telescopes have improved a lot, and so has increased our knowledge of the universe. We are now able to observe many more such objects and see much deeper into the sky. 110 objects catalogued by Messier are now referred to as M1, M2, M3 up to M110. Some of them belong to our Milky Way galaxy, but most are deep sky objects. They are much more distant than the stars of our home galaxy. Most Messier objects are within the reach of a small telescope or a binocular. Some can even be seen with the naked eye. For Messier, these objects were just non-comet fuzzy patches. But now for us, they are galaxies, star clusters or nebulae. One is a supernova remnant. M81 in Ursa Major is a spiral galaxy. It is commonly called Bode's galaxy. It is 11 million light years away. You very much need a telescope to see it. Is it an owl? No, it is M97. Of course, it is also popularly known as Owl's Nebula. It is in Ursa Major. You need a telescope to enjoy its sight. Any guess what is the name of this object? Yes, right. It is M31 or Andromeda Galaxy. The famous action hero of the comics, the Superman, was, as you know, born on a planet in Andromeda Galaxy. Andromeda, like our Milky Way galaxy, is a spiral galaxy. However, it is double the size of our galaxy. It is the farthest object in our sky that is visible with naked eye. It is 2.5 million light years away from us. Galaxies sometimes collide into each other. A collision of galaxies does not mean collisions among their stars, as most of the space between the stars and their galaxies is wide and empty. Collision of galaxies means merging of their space and redistribution of stars in the newly formed giant galaxy. Hubble Space Telescope has shown us many colliding, or rather say merging galaxies. 5 billion years in future Andromeda Galaxy is likely to collide with our Milky Way galaxy. The two will then form one giant galaxy. Around 1100 years ago, people across the world observed something very strange in the sky. They saw a ball of fire that suddenly appeared among the stars of Lepus constellation. It was so bright that it could be seen during daytime also. It was bright enough to cast shadows at night. It slowly faded away in a few months. It was so remarkable that astrologers, especially from China and Arabia, mentioned the events in their records. They called it a guest star. Some 100 years later, the Chinese and the Arabs recorded the appearance of another guest star, this time in Taurus constellation. It could also be seen during the daytime for about a month. It gradually faded away and became invisible after 2 years. In 19th century, Charles Messier, a French comet hunter, made a catalogue of 110 fixed objects of our sky that look like comets. Nobody then knew what these objects actually were. The first object on Messier's catalogue, namely M1, has now been identified as the guest star of Taurus constellation that was seen and recorded by the Chinese and the Arabs. The guest star of Taurus constellation, or Messier object M1, has now been named Crab Nebula. We now know that it is the leftover of a star that exploded with a huge bang more than 1,000 years ago. The guest star of Lepus constellation is also the leftover of a star that died with a huge explosion. That leads us to an understanding that all stars, including our Sun, are gigantic gas balls of fire that are living through a stellar lifespan of millions or billions of years. They are undergoing dramatic changes at different stages in their lives. All stars, including our Sun, emit a rainbow of colors called electromagnetic spectrum. This radiation consists of many more colors. The light visible to human eye is only a small part of the radiation emanating from the Sun. Our eyes are not sensitive to most parts of this radiation, and therefore we cannot see them. For example, we cannot see radio waves, X-rays and gamma rays. Telescopes of today are far more powerful than those of Messier's times. Moreover, we have of late stationed telescopes in space. With their help, we can see not only far distant parts of the universe, but also in many more colors Radio telescopes are radio antennas. They catch the radio part of the spectrum. They capture many radio signals coming from various parts of the sky. Some of the signals come from the remnants of massive stars called pulsars. The Sun will thus go out of the mainstream of stars. The Sun will, however, continue in the helium-carbon conversion phase for another 100 million years or so. The Sun's envelope will eventually shed most of its mass in nearby space and be left as a hot core of carbon embedded in a nebula of expelled gas, forming a planetary nebula. Many such nebulae are seen in the sky as the remnants of the dead stars. The carbon core will eventually cool and become a white dwarf. This white dwarf will be about Earth size, but it will be very heavy. It will be a very dim relic of a once very bright star called the Sun.